I want to start this video by saying something that might sound uncomfortable to some people, but I do believe that coming to design after studying something else can really be of a great advantage to you. I studied BCom before making my way to study design at NID, and for the longest time, I used to think that I was late to the game or that I had taken a wrong route. But once I actually entered NID, I did realize that this so called detour was actually one of my biggest advantages. Hear me out. So, this video is not going to be about what you should do, it's going to be about what design education actually values, especially at places like NID. So, if you're planning to get yourself enrolled at NID or you're planning to have a career or build a career in design, the kind of inputs that I'm going to give right now are going to be very, very beneficial for you. So there's a big myth around design education, and a lot of students believe that design is supposed to have a linear path. Start yourself with a bachelor's in design and then end up going for a master's in design, then end up getting a job, and then your life's sorted. But in my experience, NID does not try to look at straight or linear lines. It definitely appreciates interesting curves, and diverse education that you come from really adds a benefit to you getting into NID. Another myth that people have about design is that it's all about aesthetics, which, let me break it for you, is not just about aesthetics. Some people do have this belief that if we learn a particular software, we have become a designer. That is not how it is. That is not what design education teaches you. Design is more about how you think. It's how you observe systems, people, behaviors, and culture. If you've already studied something else before studying design, for example, you've studied commerce, you've studied science, or you've studied some other subject like psychology, for example, which I must say that is a very good combination to study psychology with design. We'll get into it later. But if you've already studied something else, even law or history, for example, then your brain is already trained to think differently. You don't think in a linear path. You have an idea of different kind of a subject, and that makes your brain function differently. And that difference I've seen come up within studios or discussions that we used to have during our classes and in our classrooms, and diverse opinions and diverse ways of thinking is what design education or places like NID really appreciate to have. In my opinion, what I observed was that some of the most interesting and unique work actually came from people who were not from design backgrounds. So I'll give you one example. There was a student in my batch who had studied law. Yes, they were a lawyer, and now they were studying apparel design from NID. And for some people, it would be very confusing as to what is a lawyer doing in apparel and how does it even connect. We are thinking very much in a linear manner. When you talk about apparel design, you just look at the end product, which is a piece of apparel. But the whole ecosystem of apparel design works at different levels. There is a whole operational system that is designed to make things more sustainable. And we have been talking about sustainability in the clothing industry, in the apparel industry since a very long time. And sustainability just doesn't come with using sustainable materials. It is also about following sustainable practices, and that can really be done when certain systems are designed in a manner that they support that kind of sustainability. And so, someone who studied law can actually understand and change certain kinds of systems in a way that it makes apparel legally more efficient and also gives right to people who are working, so it makes it sustainable at all levels. I mean, they can think about labor laws, they can think about ethics within the clothing industry, the power structures that are happening in the whole apparel industry, and the system design from the procurement of the raw materials to the creation of the actual product. So there are a lot of levels at which designers can be involved, and if you're involved at levels other than just the final product creation, that's where your previous knowledge can really help you to deliver the best kind of results as a designer as well. There's another example that I wanted to give. There was someone I knew who had come from a biology background. They'd studied biology in their bachelor's, and then they were studying lifestyle design at NID. So again, for some people, it would be like, how does it even make any sense? Like, but the way they look at things was very different from how anyone else who's not studied biology would look at it. For example, a very small example is when looking at materials. I mean, a common person would look at it, feel it, might be able to talk about it from a surface level, but someone who studied biology can really understand it from a more molecular level, from a more deeper level. And how does that material impact the skin when a person wears it? And so it can lead to certain innovations within materials that can really be beneficial for the human beings. Like we have a lot of textiles being developed which are being controlled by the weather. As per the weather, they change their characteristics and properties so that they can protect the skin from UV rays and all these kinds of different innovations. These are all happening because somebody comes from a biology background, brings in their expertise within materials, and somehow this blend of design and biology can really create something very interesting and unique. So, all I'm trying to tell you is that no matter which background you come from, it can be of an advantage if you're coming from a non design background. You can actually add more depth to your work than just coming from a conventional design background. And my whole idea of giving these examples is that these backgrounds did not dilute design, they actually expanded it. Coming on to my own example, coming from a commerce background actually was beneficial for me because I had already studied a lot of economics, accountancy. One of my favorite subjects in commerce was marketing and business studies. When you actually study and you start working further, you do realize the importance of these subjects. For example, when you're making a product, you're looking at it from its use, its function, its aesthetics. But if you get deeper into the life cycle of that product, you will realize that how does economics affect how this product is gonna prosper in the market. If there's no demand for a product like this, it won't lead to any supply. So understanding of demand and supply, or understanding of economics, basic economics, really helps you to think about the kind of solution that you're providing for a problem. Also, when you're running a business, eventually, if you end up running a business, having certain knowledge of how to market yourself or your brand, how to run and look at accounts, how to look at balance sheets when you're running your own business. I think these kind of skill sets, if you have, uh, can help you further on after you pursue your design and you eventually get into the entrepreneurship side of it. So that way, I feel that these are certain skill sets that I've learned and they have helped me even through my design journey while designing products. And I feel even beyond those. So, in my experience, I feel that having studied commerce has helped me to think differently, to think from a more of a marketing lens also, from a more economics lens also, and from a more business point of view also, without just getting myself too involved in a design that doesn't really serve any purpose. Apart from this, all these different kinds of knowledge that you come with also helps you directly or indirectly within your research before you actually start designing something. So, in the research process, a lot of your external knowledge, for example, like I said, a lawyer might have an in depth idea of how certain laws are placed, which can affect the kind of solution that we are trying to give for a particular problem. And so, coming with that kind of an understanding can really help brainstorm ideas that can really be effective and be actually a problem solver than just being a very surface level solution. So, coming from these different and diverse disciplines can actually expand your scope of design. But I would also like to add that doing a bachelor's in design is not wrong at all. If you're pretty clear from the very beginning, this is what you want to do, this is what you want to become, just go ahead with it. It does have its advantages. It gives you a lot of time to create, to understand craft, to understand the discipline that you're trying to get into, gives you time to think about what exactly triggers your creative juices, and then make those informed choices about which career path you need to take. So, BDes can definitely help you with it. If you're someone who comes from another field and is considering to do a master's in design, I would say just go ahead with it. Don't feel that you're late to the game or you're left behind. Just remove that thought right away. Instead, you're actually bringing a lot of depth that cannot be taught in 4 years of design school. I do believe that design doesn't need people who think alike. I think it needs people who come from different disciplines, and how design can be that one source of connecting these different disciplines and creating a sort of a system that works well together in unison and create something better for humanity. So, if you're from science, humanities, law, or any other background, and you feel that you might be left behind in the whole design journey, don't think about it, and you're not late, and you should definitely go ahead and apply for NID. Use your past for your advantage. Don't hide it, because that is what will be appreciated. It is not your weakness, it is definitely your edge. If this video helped you rethink your path, do share it with someone who's confused right now about their career or whether they should pivot to a design degree or not. And please do let me know in the comments below if there's anything that you want me to make, particularly on my YouTube channel. So, my YouTube channel has a lot of variety of things that I keep doing. Something that you want to understand, something you are looking forward to understand about design, about NID. I would be happy to make those videos for you guys. I wish you all the best for whatever you're planning to do, and I hope that you succeed in whatever you are wishing for. So, good luck with that, and I will see you soon. Until then, take care.